I'm here for today's session talking about a partnership and partnering together. So what is Cognizant doing together with DATPROF and how is that benefiting you all from that angle? And in order to explain what a partnership can be and what partnering can be as well, first need to explain a bit about Cognizant, so who we are, what we do, how it works with us, and then from that point onwards, I will go into the depth of the partnership, which we have and how we do it and what we foresee for the future. So, I'm not trying to sell Cognizant over here, but I just need to explain some bits and pieces of who we are. And because we are one of the biggest system integrators worldwide. I've just been corrected that we are one of the number 3 with regards to size. And so we are worldwide, we're big. I know what do we need to do with DATPROF from that regards. I think it's good to know and good to see that we have a worldwide presence, we are being recognized, but that we also have a very big quality and assurance pillar. And so as a Cognizant we do everything. I'll just skip to the next one. It does work. Cognizant is way bigger than just doing everything. We also have this one huge pillar, which we call quality engineering and assurance. So everything that you can think of with regards to bringing quality to the IT and to the digital landscape, that is something that we can do. And from that onwards, we're also going to look into a test data management practice. And because having proper test data is one of the key aspects which you require in order to do proper quality assurance. And to give you some insights on how big we are, we have a lot of people working within this domain. But even more, or not more, but a lot of those are dedicated into the test data management area. So if you look into that aspect, you can see that we're taking it up seriously. It's not something that we do on the side or occasionally. And that is one of the key things that we foresee as well for the nearby future to grow. Because again, a lot of changes are happening. We will get to that one later on. But having good test data throughout your entire landscape and software development lifecycle, that is very important. One of those partners which we utilize in making sure that we deliver proper test data management is together with DATPROF. And we can put a logo from DATPROF on our website, and DATPROF can put a logo of Cognizant on their website because a couple of people are certified, and then you are a certified implementation partner. All fair, you can do it, it will help a bit. But it's not the real benefit of having an actual partnership. A partnership, in my opinion, is much more than just knowing each other. A partnership is about making sure that together you bring a better service. And that is something which we want to do. And that's also one of the reasons why we have such a partnership together with DATPROF. We need DATPROF. DATPROF, in some cases, need us as well. Making sure that the landscape, the tool set are being set correctly and that we can overcome all these challenges like Per just did and explained. But why DATPROF in that case? Again, we just saw the numbers. Cognizant is really big in comparison to DATPROF. So why? To explain that one, I'll take you along to our vision from a Cognizant perspective, and that's on the enterprise quality. So what does quality mean, where are we going to, and what does it involve? So looking into what we see is happening right now is that there's a lot of governmental movements. GDPR, probably very well known to everybody in this room, is one of the biggest compliance acts which is available nowadays in Europe. And if we look from a broader perspective, America has their own, Southern America has their own, India is working on some. So there are a lot of regulations and compliance acts to look into. But that's not the only part. We have our customers as well. This morning, I don't know who checked it, but if you are going to some festivals and you ordered your ticket through Ticketmaster, it's going to be painful. And so the customers and your clients will also think of something, how you handle with it. And so something to incorporate in there as well. And then of course the ever-changing technology. And if you connect all these dots, especially those where everything is being reached, that part is what we call enterprise quality. And that is something which is evolving and becoming more and more important. And what we foresee, and what Forrester and Everest, etc., are also supporting in that vision, is that we are in another transition to business assurance. So it's no longer only about getting proper applications, having an application that works, that does what it should do, but that it is working from a complete end-to-end perspective. So me being a customer from any organization, it should work. I'm not interested if an error became or occurred in system A or B, it should work. Everything should be connected from that aspect. And so that whole thought of applying quality also works in that aspect. It's no longer only in the application, but from a much wider angle. And of course, there's more to the slide and then explaining what that is all about. But one of these aspects is about the centralized functions. I know we're going back in time again a little bit. First everything was centralized, then it became decentralized, and now some aspects are becoming centralized again. Test data management is one of these aspects which should be picked up from an enterprise vision. Because if you have, 10 domains and 10 domains having different approaches in settling the test data, you'll probably end up having issues making sure that you can deliver business assurance. So that is something that we are seeing, which is happening right now, and which is why you need to pick it up correctly. Apart from that, we can also see a transition in the quality engineering mindset, how the role of the former tester is still evolving. So it's still making progress, becoming more mature. And in here as well, we can see it's also more than just testing a simple application or a complex application. In there, tablets, devices are becoming essential as well. I have my dishwasher, which just started notifying me that I need to add salt. Well, for me, probably my wife will do it before I can get to it, but just the fact that we have such notification already available means that everything is going to be connected. And that also has some consequences on how it happens to us and what we need to do from a quality mindset. What do we need to do? We need to make sure that those notifications are in line with everything which is up front. And everything needs to be connected in that case. Okay, Joost, you mentioned Cognizant a couple of times now. You explained something about the changes that you foresee, which is happening. Still nothing about the partnering. I could have made a much more fancy slide with that regards. But I think that if we talk about partnership, we need to think about something which Maarten also mentioned earlier today, with about the vision. Where are we going to? What is happening? What do we see? So a vision of the future, so to say. And it can be that you have a vision which is deviating from others. But in this case, and I wasn't aware that Maarten was going to say it, but we are very similar with that regards. That is one of these aspects why we think a partnership with DATPROF is so convenient. Because we see what is going to happen. We can see it with a lot of clients. We can see all these changes, and we are being supported from that aspect by a vendor that supplies us the tool sets, the aspects and the elements that we need in order to overcome those challenges. And so adding that vision, combining it, having it shared with each other, and of course enriched with all the knowledge. the academy which has been released. Of course, it's now more convenient and more easy to train more associates. But making sure that you connect all these elements all together, that is something that will help bringing such a partnership to the next level. No longer just a logo on a website, but really joining up and making sure that you can actually deliver added value. And of course, there are numbers of ways on how to implement it, and this is just a short list. It could have been much more, of course. Of course, if we find bugs, we will tell it, but we don't need to be a partner in order to do that. If we have feature requests, I will do it, regardless if Bert is in America, yes or no. I'll just get his attention. But again, I don't need to be a partner in order to do that. His number is on the website, so anyone can do that. But making sure that you have the knowledge, that you have the connections, but also share it amongst each other, working closely together, will help you in getting there. So the partnership and partnering by itself means much more than just sending some information over back and forth. It's about making sure that if you have an idea and you can explain it properly and you can see it happening in our case with multiple clients, that we can have something in this case for DATPROF to improve. Or vice versa, if they thought of something new and they want to validate if this is a feasible option. That is to me what partnering can be in this case. Questions so far? No? All right. Then I'd like to take you through two examples, innovative aspects which we have came up with just as an example of what is happening. And probably this is more fun to see. So one of the first aspects is how to handle your test data for Salesforce. So just by showing hands, who knows Salesforce as an application or SaaS? Wow, quite a number. That's good. That's good. And knowing Salesforce a bit, you'll probably also know that the database which is below it, containing all your data, is also stored in the cloud, which you don't have direct access to. So what will happen if you have a Salesforce application containing your data, which is part of a chain, which you want to anonymize, because it holds personal data. We can utilize the option that we have from Salesforce themselves. Just mask everything which is in there, which you know that as personal data, and they will do it for you. But you will lose the synchronous of the data with your other aspects of the landscape. So if I'm in that system, I became Marco in Salesforce, how am I going to tell all the other applications that I became Marco? Or any of these elements? Very difficult with that regards. Salesforce by itself can work, but in a chain, it can't. So based on the original aspects from Bert, I don't know, 7 years ago, something like that, there was this very first draft pilot aspect which was available in order to connect to Salesforce and extract the data from Salesforce. So what we did is we extended this piece of a plugin, so to say, so it's outside the actual DATPROF application. It's a plugin on the DATPROF landscape. We are able to extract the data from Salesforce, store it in a temporary table which we have, and based on the settings we will create the right tables, all dynamically done. We will copy the data, put it in there, and then we can start masking. And then just like Per said, of course you need to know what you did with the data. So there needs to be a solution which is connecting my changes in this temporary table compared to the changes that I need to do something else in one of the other tables. But that's no different than what we already do if we have multiple applications to sync up. So that is what we can do. So we have the runtime platform, which is hosting my plugin, extract the metadata, extract the data, and then I have my template, which I use to mask the data, if I need to subset it because I have production values and I'm just in need of 10 cases, I don't know, just a number, I can subset as well, making the right templates, and then I can push all this data through the plugin again to Salesforce, to any given organization which I have in there. This is something which will work generically. We can do that. We can only do that if we know exactly how the DATPROF application is working. But also, if something is going to change, like a velocity upgrade, so to say, on the DATPROF runtime engine, if that happens and we are not aware of it, this plugin will no longer work. So in order to make sure that we still am able to give this feedback and to give this added value, we will need to work together and we need to be aware. If we're going to do something in here which is reusable for any setup, we will inform DATPROF and they can implement these changes, these aspects. For the workflows, for instance, parts of that have been from based on the feedback which we had from this one. So a partnership will bring us closer together and make sure that the product gets better as well, in order to have a better and a more easy way to overcome these challenges. Looking at the time, I can still do the second one as well. And that one is fairly similar to the previous one. Of course, there are some minor details, but also this one is something which is a next step on that one. Because we thought of how to do this, and that is something which should be done in such a way that it's generic. What I aim for is to have, I don't know, Pega or any other SaaS application in here next year as well. Because the setup should be generic. It should be easily understandable. Of course, the way how I connect to such a SaaS provider, for instance, will differ. But the way that I need to connect to it, and that I need to get the metadata from their application, and that I need to extract the data from it, all these steps are still the very same. So that won't change. So that is something that we are also giving back with that regard, saying, okay, this is something which we would really like. And because if you provide it, it will be much more easy for us, so that we don't have to think about it and have to maintain it all separately. Because if we can do it, basically everybody can do it. So if we do it and we hand it over, and you can provide it for us, win-win. And that is something which I think is partnering is all about.